Hey everyone, and welcome to my live. I am having some trouble just trying to log on today and do what I need to do, which is just talk, run my mouth as I usually do. So I am, I've been missing for a while, MIA, and that's because I've just been busy. Like I said before, I've been busy with my school stuff and just trying to get the semester started and getting it finished up. It's only 6 weeks long, so as you can imagine, it's about 16 weeks combined into only 6 weeks of lecturing and quizzes and everything else that you have to get done. So I've been taking some time to just make sure to try to focus on my students. So I haven't been here religiously like I wanted to. Um, So today I'm just going to talk about some stuff, just so to update you, um, as in terms of my plans for the bistro. It's still going good, and in terms of finances, what is left to be paid out looks pretty good for me. I like the way the numbers look. Not a lot left back for to be paid to get the project completed. So I'm really really happy about that part of it. I'm always happy about anything to do with progress, aren't we all? When I did the budget as late as yesterday, I know that it's only about after I sent some monies off last week. I know it's only about 1,500 left for the lumberyard, and it's about um, probably about maybe 1,500 left for the the builder. So, I mean, what else can you ask for? It can't get, honestly, it can't get any better, especially when you are accomplishing a goal that you really want to accomplish and then being able to do so on a budget that makes you happy, and that isn't going to break the bank. So that is going pretty good. So I plan to finish all that up, of course. For We are now in July, and the project has ran a little bit over time due to some hold up, of course, with the rain, and definitely with Western Union and MoneyGram, and it's all right though. It's not that bad. And also, it allows me time to think about things more. I think in a more clearer, well, I guess clear way. I mean, it doesn't push me to rush to do things and to not be able to, give some thoughts to what I'm really doing. So for me it does work, like the little holdups here and there. It doesn't hinder my progress. So what it does is that it really enhances what it is that I'm doing and the next steps, my next steps. So that's really a good thing for me. So it hasn't been a bad process at all. And my experience, like I've been sharing, is that hasn't been like a horrible one. Not even. So far it's been pretty good. um, I've been getting some information about painting, and I got from a few people. So now at least three people. So now I'm able to make a decision on which one is going to work best in terms of when I'm ready to do the painting. Will I be able to? Will I purchase there? Will I buy overseas and ship it? I've heard from a viewer, and also from I placed it in a group. And for those of us who utilize the internet, I mean, we know that it's a space where you can really get a lot of information from. And so people will respond if you ask some questions. So I placed the question, and I got I got a response. And then I also placed a call for mixologists, and got a response and a phone number as well. Where someone messaged me the number today for someone who is a good mixologist. And you know that I was looking for someone who can, at least two people I'm going to need, But even if I start off with one, that's fine for the bistro. So two good mixers, like people who can do mixed drinks really well. So I'm looking forward to talking to that person and to being able to see what it is that they can do. I'll hopefully be in Guyana soon, so I have a whole nother um, issue going on with Guyana, and trying to get there. I'm supposed to be visiting very soon, but unfortunately, my passport, U.S. passport, is still being held up. I just saw where they put that it's going to take 18 weeks in order to get this passport. Now, I filed all the way back in March. I believe it was March, ending of March. Then they sent it back because something was wrong. And then I sent it back like a week later. So essentially, they ended up taking out, what I where when I followed the trail, they ended up taking out their money somewhere around May 9th or 10th. And so therefore I assumed, okay, well, I count the weeks and I landed nicely between that 8 weeks. I said, even if it went over to 10 weeks, it'll be very close, but at least I'll have it on time. Then all of a sudden, these folks come out and say, okay, well, it's 18 weeks, and I did it normal, regular, because I didn't expect to have an issue. My mom filed the same time and she got hers back within, and hers got sent back too. And she sent it back same time I did. And she got hers back within 2 weeks, or 2.5 weeks. So anyway, I don't know what is going on with them and my passport, but they need to get it to me ASAP, so that way I can get out of this country and be able to get some stuff done. So, anyways, I was planning to meet some of these people like when I go down. I wanted to meet the mixologist. I wanted to meet also my the folks who is gonna do. Maybe I'll take. Someone suggested to take. Some swatches from Lowe's, or I like Lowe's and I also like Home Depot, so it doesn't matter where, whichever one I'm closer to, I'll pick up some swatches and take it down so they'll see what paint I like. Now, I was watching at a show recently, and on this show, this is a show actually dealing with the homeless. I watch a lot of documentaries, and by the way, and all sort of stuff. So if I'm not watching documentaries about travel, I'm watching documentaries about homelessness, about humanitarian work. I'm always educating myself about what is happening around me, and also seeing where, I think, understanding where my strengths are, where it helps me also to be more appreciative of the life that I do have. Helps me to not complain as much as I do. Helps me to see the world in a different way when I look at the positive things that other people are doing as well. So it gives me a nice balance. So when I look at these things, and then of course I love history and everything else. So I do delve into these things for a variety of reasons, and especially when I have this spirit of complaint that because all of us can get there, and we know we can go there. We can go to that place where nothing satisfies us, and it doesn't matter what we have around us, it doesn't satisfy us, and that isn't a good place to be. It's a complaining spirit, and it's absolutely a selfish one. But we still go there, don't we? So my thing is that when I go out off balance, down that road where I want to start complaining about this isn't going good or whatever it is, to help me just balance my life or my thoughts out, I go to places and shows which pushes me to think about what it is that I'm complaining about. You see someone with a prosthetic leg, for example, and who is out there running and doing their thing, and somebody, I follow this little guy, this little boy. I think he's maybe like 14 or probably younger, and he's totally immobile. And I follow him on Instagram. And this kid always has a smile on his face. He's in a wheelchair. I mean, his entire back is deformed, like he can't stand up. I don't know what sickness he has, but it's just really something that makes you look, and doesn't matter what he's doing at the doctor's office, his mom is giving him massages, whatever it is, this kid is always happy. So what I'm saying is, we can go down the route of complaining, and I try to not do it, but we all do. So I take heed while I go to these shows, and I take heed and saying, okay, Donat, like, what are you complaining about? What is wrong with your life? And there's nothing wrong with it. And even though I tend to be a really positive person, like 99% of the time, there's always going to be that 1% where I become totally a selfish human. It's disgusting, I think, to be in that mind frame when you have just about everything you need, and you still want to complain about what you don't have. Anyways, so I said all that to say even more. Like I said, I'm appreciative of the fact that the program or the plans for Guyana is going well. I am glad that even though there were a few holdups, that I learned from those holdups, and that I, made even better decisions during that time. I am now debating on paint and mixologists, and so to decide where to go with those things, and hopefully I can get the swatches. I can go to Guyana. I can, meet a few go to a few paint stores and get them to mix some paint so I can see what it looks like. I figure I'll just purchase some, some maybe half gallon or whatever it is of each of the two colors. So I was watching the show. This is where I was going with that. I was watching the show on the homeless people, and I saw some colors like that I liked. I mean, I am telling you, it's in Los Angeles, but there is a building, a particular. There are two buildings that are very close to one another, and both colors actually I have in my house in Georgia. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh shoot, that's the one that not the outside of the house, but the inside, the bedrooms. I have both colors. I was like, oh wow, those are the colors I like, and that's the colors I'm gonna go for. Now, ironically, if you look at my glasses and you also look at my little lapel, well, this little mic thing right here, you will see that it's blue. And the color that I'm looking at, and even if you look in the background, I like, and it's funny, blue isn't like was never a color that I loved because I like yellow more than anything else. But when it comes down to making different choices of colors, blue would be my next choice. So when I saw that color, I was like, oh shoot! So that's the one I'm gonna do. So I've decided to go with blue, just so you know, and also green. Well, this green is more like a what color green I should say? Not a yeah, more like an olive green, more like an olive green, and the other blue is like more like this, like a royal blue type of look. It's absolutely stunning in the sunshine on the building. It just looks so gorgeous. So those are the colors that I've decided to go with on the outside of the building, and that's the color that people will be invited to. So I'm absolutely excited about that. And I was also in looking at the show the other day. I wanted to looking at one of the shows, I wanted to actually mention a few things, and this is why my title is the way it is for today. So, to me, there are certain basic rights that every human being deserves. And when I look at all these shows and I see how much we are being influenced by just always buying and taking. It's really, really just sad for me. So the ability to have good health care should be something that every citizen in this country has. We shouldn't have to fight for proper health care. People shouldn't have to go without it. People shouldn't have to have astronomical bills because of the fact that their loved one got sick. They shouldn't have to be put in a position where they're near poverty because of the fact that someone passed away during the time that they were being treated, and now there is a bill for 258, close to $600,000 sometimes. Like, this is just crazy. Healthcare poverty is just one of the things that is happening, and that is pushing people into even more dire situations, and it's just really, really, really sad. And so, I mean, but these are basic things that every human being should have, shouldn't they? The right to work. It's stunning how many people don't have jobs. I mean, I see these states cutting off their extra benefits for citizens, and my pandemic benefits. And I'm just wondering to myself, like, they're saying that the reason why people aren't going out back to work, it's because of the fact that they have these extra benefits. Now, I'm just wondering to myself, do they actually have the jobs ready for these people? And the reason why they're not probably going back out to work is because they were working 3 and 4 jobs, and maybe they still have two. So they're not coming back to your job because of the fact that they already have two and they're already stressed enough. And staying home during the pandemic has just taught them that they don't need to work those extra hours, or maybe they're still home with their kids. Who knows what's happening. But to have the governor make certain decisions about taking back the pandemic extra pandemic benefits, I understand that sometime it has to end. But the way it was, it was just thrust upon the people, like, okay, you got, all of a sudden it's just like, okay, yeah, it ends so and so date, and now what do they do? What do people do when they meet these these situations? These are basic things, like I said, that I think, as human beings and as Americans, that we should not have to be fighting for. I think that we've worked in this country for so many years. Many of us, even if we're immigrants, if we came into this country, a lot of us has worked, our parents have worked, our grandparents have worked, invested in this system. And so to not be, I don't mind giving up some of what it is that I work for, or have my tax money, for example, go to someone who needs, someone who has to provide for their child, someone who has to provide daycare, someone, I don't know, I don't mind, right? um, do they have work for for all these hundreds of thousands and millions of people who have to now go back to work? Maybe they're a little bit, I see that there are other companies that are out there who are actually given more of an incentive, or a bonus, such as a bonus to come back to work. They want to train them more, give them more opportunities to grow in the business, and to give them, because people are disgruntled by the way these big companies are continuing to make money, and even small companies, they're continuing to make money, but they refuse to give it, to let it trickle down to the employees. And so therefore there's a complaint. So why do I want to escape the US? These are reasons why I want to leave this country, because I just see like it's not getting any better. And I think that that the cost of living is going to continue to rise. So I know the gas, I use 93, for example, in my car. So the gas price went up at least by 60 cents. I went to the supermarket the other day. Now, my husband and I, we take turns going to the grocery store. So, we're on this healthy eating thing as well. So, to eat healthy, you've got to spend a way, way more money, because you're not eating processed food. You're just basically going for clean food. And clean food means that you got to pay a whole lot of money. And so, therefore, when he goes, I went to the store the other day. My budget was to spend about $100. Well, hello, $100, really? No, that's not working at all. Ended up spending about two. I mean, I'm sorry, $140 in the supermarket. Right? It's also public supermarket, so I don't know. Public supermarket happens to have really good meat, premium meat. Most everything there is really on another level compared to lots of, like, say, Walmart or wherever it is. So I mean, I like shopping at Publix. It's right around the corner, and also it's a really large, nice supermarket. Like, really, it's beautiful in there. So I love being there. So I don't mind. And then not only that, you always get to buy one get one free with the breads, which we're not eating bread right now, but oil sometimes. Olive oil. They always have a deal, so I like going for their deals. Sometimes you buy, uh, whatever you're purchasing, you may get something, you may get it free, buy one get one free. So I like that, that those kind of offerings by Publix. So, but then you have to spend your money when you go there as well. You do invest it a lot. So anyway, when I was done shopping that $140, close to $40, listen, I almost cried. I'm like, what the hell did I just buy for $140? Literally, I mean, and I know things have been going up, and I've had, obviously we have raised three boys, so we know all about spending money, summer times, even more money just to feed the family. However, when it's just two of you, I think it becomes more apparent as to how much you're spending to eat healthier or to eat, period. Because now you don't have kids at home. It's just you too. And now you're like, okay, well, I can live cheaper. But then the reality of it is that you're not even living cheaper, because of everything that has gone up. So the cost of living, the inflation is there. Everything is there. Like it just falls upon you. So like I said, so I've got the gas price, which is like 60 cents more. Oh, eggs. Oh no, wait a minute. I try to get like cage free eggs, and that's like 5.95 or something like that. $5.95. All right. So then I'm like, okay, well, maybe not cage free. I'll just go for something cheaper than cage free. So I go down to the next one, which is, I guess, is still organic kind of, but it's still, but they're not, they're still cage, I guess, right? So I don't know. I mean, I don't, anyways, when I looked at that one is about 3.92 or something like that. So I got two trays of eggs. I don't like the regular eggs because even though it's cheaper, I don't like it. I just like the more of the organic, approach to life and living these days. So see, that's the reason why I need to get out of here. See, I want to be able, but remember when I first started this vlog, I said, that I want to be able to eat salmon, I want to be able to eat fancy food, and I don't want to worry about my pocket. Like literally, I don't think that we are at salary levels where we need to be this worried all the time about money. I think that when you have accomplished certain feats in your life, when you have done everything right, you feel like as though you should be living a certain way, and to constantly have this worry about what if what where money is going and what is gonna, so, the car, for example, costing, you go in and you think it's a little problem, and then you end up paying $1,000 by the time you walk out. That's just that kind of stuff I'm telling you about. Like really, it just kind of makes you mad. Like, what the hell just happened to my $1,000? Like, why couldn't I just go in and get it fixed for like $100, right? And my husband fixes, cars too, right? But there are times, it has to go on the lift or whatever, where he can't do that kind of stuff because he doesn't have a garage. Even if he had I mean, like a real garage, where they fix cars, and he doesn't work at one of those, so hey, I'm just saying, this is one of the reasons why I want to escape, because I don't feel like as though I need to be this stressed about finance and budget all the time. There is a way to live, and if you guys are following all these expats, African American women and different people who are traveling out of this country. These are women who were born here, and they're just packing and leaving. They're living in Mexico. They're traveling the entire world, teaching in other countries, house sitting, doing different things. Listen, I follow a lot of these vloggers on YouTube, and it is amazing how many of these women and guys, young guys. In fact, I'm encouraging my middle son to do this right now. I told him, I said, listen, when you're done with, he graduates this year from art school. I'm like, pack yourself and leave. Go wherever you want to go. Work, find a job where you can make money online, and YouTube the hell out of whatever it is that you have to. He's an art student, he's a musician, he does a lot of stuff, and he's a free spirit. I said, you don't need to be tied down, you don't need to be locked up. Do what you want to do. That's one thing I've always encouraged my children. Like, you don't have to follow the norms, whatever society has laid out for you. Like you can do your life the way you want to do it, as long as it's responsible, as long as it projects progress, as long as you're happy. Do what you have to. So I'm encouraging them along those lines. The fact that so many people are without a home, that's the other basic rights that I was going to talk about, is to have, the basic right, human right, is to have a home, a place to call your own. I don't care if it's as little as my little, what I call my little beach casa, even if it's as little as my little beach casa, or as big as my rental property in Georgia. It doesn't matter, right? It's, whatever size your home is, it's your home. And it's where you lay your head. It's where you feel safe. It's where family is built, relationships, love. It's where trust is built, bonding. It's personal. It's not just a house, right? A house could be just a place you live in, and where you're uncomfortable forever, where you are abused, and where bad things happen. But a home is different. So I do say, for me, I want to project this on this channel, that they're just basic things that I want to have, and that it's not only me. I know it's not only me, right? I want to escape the US for all those reasons that I just said. And if you've been following me, I've said I'm going to continue to work online. I'm going to continue to do what it is that I want to do in terms of business. I'm going to launch that bistro. I'm going to, plan weddings and events, with a Miami flair. I want to do things differently, than the persons who do them in the local settings. Yeah. So I'm taking my expertise, and I'm, you know, kind of transposing all that stuff to another location. So I'm at a place where I'm totally ready to leave. I turned 50 in about 2 years. I'm 48 this year. Yeah, turned 50 in about 2 years. And I'm thinking that I want to actually, speed up the process of relocating. Remember, I started off with 4 years, and so now I'm so pissed after I watch all these things, and because I've been wanting to go for so long, I don't think I'm gonna make it to four, y'all. I'm sorry, I gotta go. I need to get out of here. I am tired of it. I am tired of the expenses. I am tired of like when you look at these other expat, like these expats, because I wouldn't be an expat, because that's it will be me just remigrating, you know back to my home country. But for when you look at these expats, they tell you the same thing. Like there is a way to live outside of the United States. Oh, and you know what I said the other day in one of the posts that I did for, one of the expats? I said the United States have done a magnificent job at basically demonizing every other country around the world. I mean, their PR campaign against the world, except for Europe, has been so bold and so nasty and so determined to destroy the image of these countries. It's absolutely, unparalleled. I mean, they've just been good at their PR campaign. In other words, what I'm saying to you is this, is that they have been so good at it that we began, and the people in the United States began to think and believe that the only place that is possibly beautiful is either the US or Europe. Notice the way, they play with words, right? They play with words such as, oh, in Europe, like we said before, oh, in Europe, they'll find some old house somewhere, and this old house will look like, I don't know what. And then they'll say, oh, it's historic. So they play with words, right? I mean, and they don't mind playing with those words. They just kind of mess with you. It's historic. It's it's legendary. It's this, it's that, and so lived there. They'll go to the Caribbean somewhere, and they'll be like, "Oh, this building is so old and it's broken and it's destroyed, and there's no life in it." And the words that they will use to describe one versus the other, which is the exact same thing that they're looking at, an old building, but one building will be elevated to historic, and the other one will be demonized to, oh, well, it's just below standards. And the way they play with words is absolutely mind blowing. But when you have the platforms that are so widely owned by a certain population, they can do what it is that they want to do. And I say that is the best thing that ever happened to black and brown people is the internet. So the fact that we're able to voice our let our voices be heard, the fact that we are able to launch these platforms and speak about our experiences, the fact that we can bring different content to the to various people around the world and to one another, it's just really, really, really good. And so when you look at the content of these expats and what it is that they're dishing out and sharing about these other countries in which they live or which they've visited. And then they'll tell you, though, which countries are kind to black people, which countries are not. So there are going to be a few of those that are not going to be too kind to you. So you shouldn't even, and if you do go, you just expect certain things. But for the most part, they still talk about how cheap it is to live outside of the United States and that they themselves didn't know. See, as an island girl, I have to tell you this: the advantage that I've always had is that I know what it's like to leave this country, leave the mess behind, whether it's racism and everything else. And I used to pack up every year and go back home and not have to worry about anything. And that's one of the things. So I already knew that there was a world beyond the United States. I've never ever, not known that because I grew up in that other world. It may not have as many opportunities and so on, but definitely, if you can, if now that we have a market that is so global and so open, we're able to work from wherever it is that we want to. The opportunities have been broadened so much more. So, the realities of everything is completely different. So now that we're able to work from different places and the opportunities are there, I think what we can do is leverage those opportunities so that we can all develop more outside of this place. Than we are than coming here and struggling. I think we've got the largest, most well developed human slave system in this country as well. I'm sorry, we do. We give people just enough to make them happy, and we will let them think that they have everything. But you drive around in certain communities and see who really has everything. See who has everything. Then it's a 10%, right? That controls and has everything. It's not a 90% at the bottom. Even if you're middle class, even if you're, so unless you're like, and even the upper class, they're still working and slaving anyway. It's the most enslaved system ever. It's just done in a different way. They give you enough so that you're happy. They give you enough so they think so but then in reality, they can take your home anytime they want to. If you stop paying, you get sick today, tomorrow, as they say in Guyana, you get sick and you can't pay that mortgage and see who that house belonged to. You get sick, or you get into to some you lose your job, and you're paying doing car payments, for example, right? And you're not able to pay that car. See how fast you become the next one to jump on the bus, or just having to take a taxi or walk where you're going. It will, really quickly it happens. and it happens to people every day. And when you look at Skid Row and those places out in LA and all those places where we tend to think of Hollywood as this glamorous place, and you look at the way these people are struggling, and then you also look at people even who work with Microsoft and Google and so on, and some of these people are homeless, not because they don't have a job. We know professors who are homeless in places like Cali. They do have a job, but they're outpriced. They can't afford to purchase a home, and they can't even afford to rent a home, and they can't afford to purchase it either. And they make good money. It's just that the market, things are so imbalanced that it doesn't make any sense. So they make $80,000 a year, 90,000 a year, even 100, 120,000 sometimes, and they're barely making it to pay the rent in certain neighborhoods because they want to live at least in a decent place. And it's not to say a lot of these people live in, the stories that I've watched. The houses are normal houses. I mean, if they were to pay $3,000 the way, or 3,005 in Cal, wherever it is, go to places like Georgia or certain places, 3,005 is like really it's a hell of a house. But places like California, that 3,005 isn't a lot of money per month. Anyways, that's why I got to get out of here. So I'm escaping America to go live in, to have some tranquility, to be able to live in peace and in harmony with my environment, to be able to, just to live and not be subjected to all the other things that is going on, racism, economic disparity, racial, well, we already know racial disparity, economic disparity, health disparities, so many other things, home, in terms of people who face, you know, eviction from homes, that we expect that will start rising. Anyways, yeah, it's a lot and it's heavy. But that's my thing for today. All right. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care and welcome to my channel if you haven't been here. So I'm Donette and I talk about all sort of stuff, things that primarily this channel was designed to influence or talk to people about going back home or going out of this country, and to tell you about my plans, of course. But it's also where I want to influence you through positive talk, and also through, just sharing my knowledge and so on. So thank you again for listening. I appreciate it. Bye bye.